Manchester United have had, well, arguably the worst season than Spurs, despite finishing higher because there was no trophy for Ruben Amorim's side. Interesting to hear what he had to say after the game. Beaten Villa by 2-0, finishing 15th in the table. And he did speak to the fans after the game. And he said, after this disaster season, I want to tell you, the good days are coming. If there is one club that has proven in the past they can overcome any situation, any disaster, it is our club. It is Manchester United. Well, are you inspired by those words?
Oh, I'm not sure about inspired, but it can't be any worse next year, can they? You know, they can't be any worse. They'll have to improve. There's obviously a few players' contracts up who will leave. We go back to recruitment. They certainly need to get players in who know, I think, the Premier League. I think the majority of signings over the last 2 or 3 years are players who've never played in the Premier League, and they've struggled to adapt it, particularly when they brought so many players in. So I think they have to go back to basics and get some really good, proper, experienced players who know the Premier League and who are men and who are robust, who can turn up week in, week out and do a good job for Man United. I don't necessarily mean challenge for obviously league titles, but get Man United back up the table and competing every week.
Sorry, Roy, what do you mean by men? Because Chelsea have qualified for the Champions League with one of the youngest teams we've ever seen in the Premier League, average age of 24.
Yeah. What's your point?
So when you're saying, man, are you talking about age and experience? What do you mean by that?
People who know the Premier League. I think when you bring so many players in from obviously from abroad who've not played the Premier League, I think it's a challenge. And I give Chelsea credit. They've rolled their sleeves up, and they were heavily criticised at the start of the season. But they've got players still in their group who've played in the Premier League. They might be still young and inexperienced in terms of being around for 10 years, but they know the Premier League. Man United, I think, have brought too many players in who don't know the league and who don't know how to turn up week in, week out. The one thing you want as a footballer or as a team you're playing with, you want people to kind of compliment you by saying you're hard to play against or you're hard to beat. United are easy to play against and they're easy to beat. To me, that's the biggest insult on this United group at the moment. And I'm just talking about getting Man United competing week in, week out, wherever that might take them. This group of players have shown this year with the amount of games they've lost, and last year, I'm talking about league, they're not up to it. That's not going to change overnight. Whatever with the manager and the systems and having more time to work with the players, they need certain players to come in who know the league, and again, who are men, I played with men, lads who knew the league. So you could have good young players, of course, but you need to look at lads, particularly the spine of your team, and going, they'll turn up every week. They might win every week, but they'll turn up and they'll be hard to beat. And United have to start competing. It's just...
He inferred, Jamie, as well, when he was talking to the fans, that he told everyone this storm was coming. He expected this because he almost could foresee the short-term pain this club needed to go through to make progress. Might they actually look back at this as the turning point in the Manchester United recent story? They have fewer games next season. There's obviously going to be an overhaul of the playing staff as well.
The problem is there's been a lot of turning points. You're always looking for something, but
perhaps previously they were looking for a short-term fix.
Yeah, short-term fix, bringing them.
I totally get
that.
They've said, we'll take the pain.
And you've got to be aligned. I think that's the most important thing. They've got, Jason Wilcox, they've got a new CEO as well. Jason is undoubtedly knows the game. He understands what, success at Manchester City and what it takes. But it's going to take time. You can't look at that squad. I think what it tells you everything. When you look and go through that squad and think to yourself, how many of them would you not sell this summer? I think apart from Lenny Yoro, and it's purely because he hasn't been there that long and he's a young player, I think every single United player will be up for sale.
You'd sell Bruno?
I would right now, yeah. I would. And I'm a big fan. I know, I think he's a game changer, but I think if the right money came about and you could then invest into the squad, and I think he is a good player. I think he's a top footballer. He was poor in midweek, but he has been their leading light this year. But if the right money were to come available and you could improve your squad, I would certainly take the right money.
I'm intrigued when I hear a manager say we're going to have less games, as if that guarantees success. Part of playing for a big club is more games.
Well, he hasn't said that. They were my words.
Right, OK, but I've heard that from other managers before, and he said it before himself. I've got a free week with the players I can work on, and then they don't back it up with a result. As if having a free week is always good for a football club. You want to be busy. You want to be playing football matches. That's where you learn. That's where you get your experiences. As if he's going to produce a magic wand to turn some of these players into top players because he's got a free week. That's bizarre in itself.
One thing I think we'll both agree on, they cannot get any lower than this, surely. This is the it feels like something has to happen next season.
Mid-table next year.
Yeah. But if you look at what Forest have done this year, I mean, surely with United's squad, and if they invest right and bring in some good players and get the recruitment right.
The way you look at it, if you look at this United group of players, they still should be doing, as bad as they are, they still should be doing better.
Absolutely.
There's more in that squad to certainly get higher up the table.
Guys, congratulations on seeing the season out with a win after the disappointment of Wednesday. How much did you need that today for these fans?
I think winning is always important for this team. We knew this season it was a tough season for everyone, especially for us, but today we won, and we just won for proud because the fans deserve this win, the club, and we are really sorry for what happened this season. We keep learning and we will back next season stronger.
Christian, everyone came into this game expecting this was going to be the last time we saw you play for Manchester United. Can you confirm that that is correct?
Yeah, that is correct, and I think that's also why Bruno gave me a pen. I think obviously as a nice farewell, but no, I mean you can hear it here today. Like Ahmad said, I think we did it today for the fans. We had a tough season, but yeah, I'm gonna wish them all the best. It's an incredible stadium, incredible club. Yeah, I hope they'll be back on top at some point for sure.
So a bit of a surprise to be taking the penalty today, but is it the perfect way to see your time out at Manchester United?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely with a goal and the last half an hour here in the stadium. I mean, it's been some exciting few years been in this stadium and playing for this club. But I've enjoyed it, and I'm taking a lot of good memories with me.
What next?
What's next? First of all, holiday and relax, national team, and then we'll see what the future holds. I'm still fit to play, so we'll see where.
You can hear these fans in the stadium, Ahmad. How much did you want to put in a good performance for these fans, just so there's a bit of positivity going into next season?
I think they deserve everything. They deserve the positivity for us. They deserve the win for us. It's a big club. We know that. We know this season was very, very hard for everyone, and even for them. But they was always here to support us. No matter what, I want to say thanks for them, and we will come back next season stronger.
Well done today, guys.
Thank you so much.
First of all, I want to apologize for this season. And really disappointed with the team. Second thing, I want to say thank you. We are very grateful for your support during the season. Was really hard to support us in many games. But now we have to make a choice. Or we stay stuck in the past because this season is in the past, is over. We fight each other, or we stick together and move forward. Six months ago, in my first 3 games in charge, with 2 victories and 1 draw, I said to you, the storm is coming. Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you the good days are coming. If there is one club in the world that proved in the past that can overcome any situation, any disaster, is our club, is Manchester United Football Club. Now I want to say sorry also to my players. Sometimes I was not fair, but I try always to be honest with you guys. Thank you very much. See you next season.
John, there was so much hope and belief coming into this game that you could get the job done and qualify for the Champions League. So how tough is that to take?
Yeah, tough to take, especially in the circumstances. I don't think any of us in the dressing room, anyone watching the game, felt like we deserved to win. Man United deserved to win. They were a better team. They were on the front foot, missed loads of chances. But the decision is incredible. I think everyone, when VAR was implemented, wanted the correct decisions. They wanted if it's offside, be offside. You watch rugby, if there's a try given, even if the referee's awarded it, if it's wrong, it's overturned. If it's right, the try's given. So I know it's the rule, I've seen it before a couple of times, but it's so hard to take, especially when the impact it has on us as a team and as a club is so big. So for Thomas to blow his whistle at that point is, it's really tough to take and to handle. I don't think we deserve to win the game, but at that point you're 1 up with 20 to go. All you need is a point to get in the Champions League. It's a really costly one. And
we are still waiting for Unai Emery as well to come out and chat to us to get his reaction. I would imagine that there's a bit of a debrief going on.
Take 20 minutes, Unai, do some
the dressing room.
guided
It's
meditation.
wise, Joe, isn't it?
Really?
Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he needs to really come down because the emotions he would have been feeling. He trudged off the pitch. We saw some of the Villa officials speaking to the referees. It's obviously come down from a director's box somewhere. So emotions are higher when the stakes are like that, you know. And I think the manager needs to just compose himself, do his media obligations, and you can't change it. You can come out and moan about it and you know and fume at the world, but it's done now. Ultimately, it's not going to change. So there's nothing to gain from it. Just come out. We've all said the injustice that we've seen. We think the referee's made a mistake. It won't be the first time in football. It won't be the last time.
When Unai Emery was going down, obviously I've seen one of his coaching staff having strong words with the fourth official, and then Unai. I wonder. I'd like to hear what Unai says because it looked like he might have got an apology from the referee.
If that happens mid-season and it costs you points, it will be talked about a lot and you'll be furious, but you move on. But because it's the last game of the season and because of the implications with Champions League, that's going to take a long time, Joe, to get over.
Yeah, there'll be some of them players in that dressing room, there'll be years before they forget that bad decision. But, you know, Unai Emery, you see immediately his reaction. You know, I thought he composed himself quite well because, you know, the emotions of the game and everything's riding on it for this club. You know, we knew that they needed Champions League football, but, you know, for the financial situation the club's in, you know, and getting in and getting out could mean massive difference for where they go next season. So a lot was riding on that decision. But let's not forget as well, if you take a step back from it, Aston Villa didn't deserve nothing.